What is the nudes? Story 1. Them teasing you in person. Story 2. The smile in their eyes when they see you. Nothing will ever beat that. Story 3. Story 4. Not completely nude. Story 5. Well, I only recently learnt that ladies like hands. You learn something new every day. Story 6. As an office worker with crazy long hours, if she makes me something home-cooked, doesn't even have to taste amazing, but in our time-poor society, nothing else really has the same green flag of her level of interest. Nudes have like 15 seconds of my attention. A home-cooked meal is enjoyed for at least 30 minutes, 1 hour, and is thought about from time to time going forward. Add the double whammy of how much healthier, more wholesome home-cooked food tastes versus the nightly parade of takeout. Story 7. A good sense of humor. Story 8. Big brain. Story 9. Thigh highs, choker and latex short dress. Story 10. An actual personality. Story 11. Acts of service. Example, my partner makes me tea, baths, and meals every day that I'm on my period. He takes care of me like I'm sick and insists on doing all of the work around the house for those few days. I've never been with a man or woman who has been so kind to me during my period, especially without me asking. Story 12. Men moaning. Story 13. Smelling good and being handsy in public. Story 14. Stories or them telling you what they want to do. It shows their inner thoughts more, shows exactly how turned on they are and what they're thinking. Story 15. Once accidentally left a jacket at a girl's place. She sent me a pic wearing nothing but the unzipped jacket. I still have that jacket and every time I see it, now I think of her. Story 16. Gamer girl in pajamas. Friends, before we continue our video, I want to remind you of the importance of subscribing to our channel. We are also waiting for your comments and likes. Thank you, let's move on to the video. Story 17. Real consent. There is this guy I know that is the most amazing in it. I want him, but I ain't gonna force the slow-growing bond to grow faster, because forcing it will break it. Story 18. Depends on the gender, I suppose, but for me, I love a woman very specifically holding the bottom of her shirt with her teeth just hiding boob. It's tasteful teasing. It mainly works with smaller boobs, but I'd be happy to be proved wrong. Story 19. Lingerie is hotter than naked. Don't know why, especially black lacy. It's just instant boner town in an almost embarrassing way, like I feel weak to it and could be seduced by such average chicks wearing the right thing and moving the right way. I really hate having a sometimes. Story 20. Semi-nudes in inappropriate places, saying I can't help it. I am thinking of you everywhere throughout the day, and I am hot and bothered because of it. Story 21. Clear conversation, respectful communication, understanding boundaries, good sense of humor, emotional intelligence. Story 22. A handwritten letter on 8.5x11 parchment in black India ink, folded and pressed with a white rose in between the folds, and sealed with a wax stamp. A small spritz of cologne, so her memories of you will be triggered by your scent. The letter must be delivered in person by hand. Story 23. Sincere feelings, expressed appropriately, through any of the senses, with confidence and maybe even some wit and humor thrown in. Story 24. For me personally, it's a back massage. I've been single for a long time and I do a lot of physical labor, so I have a pretty sore back on my days off. If someone even touches my back at this point, I'm liable to fall in love. Story 25. Of someone genuinely wanting to know me and ask questions to know me and respond in genuine ways, especially with its intensity, and they're enjoying my presence to the point where in this moment they are so attracted to me, haha. Story 26. When I lay my head in her lap and she runs her fingers through my hair while we watched the Hobbit trilogy 6 years ago. I miss you, Stacy. Story 27. Intelligence. It is a gem that is highly underrated and not found easily in our society. Sorry, dummies. If you feel mad about my comment though, just look at some more titties. Story 28. I feel a solid, deep intellectual conversation. To many of my generation, millennials, are dumb. A woman or man who can hold a brilliant conversation gives me an instant chub. Story 29. Being paid reasonably for the work that one does. Being recognized and receiving promotions without needing to claw your way to a better life. Not having an HR that lowballs you because they know you want a new position. Story 30. When they ask, on purpose, about topics you're passionate and knowledgeable about, and then they ask questions and actually show interest themselves. Not like, I want to do this too, but like you care about this, so I should at least get the gist of it, so I can brag about you to my friends. Like, oh my god, so sexy it will literally interrupt my own thoughts mid-ramble. Story 31. Someone who is smart enough to not take naked photos of themselves and send them to other people. I don't understand how an entire group of people was given this great tech and the first thing they want to do is send pics. But hey, keep sending nudes and then wondering why all of the person's friends have seen you naked or why it ended up on some amateur site or something. Story 32. Eye contact attention. The moment where that comfortable silence turns into palpable tension. You can almost feel their heart beating in sync with yours. Neither want to make the first move, but you both know you're ready. There is something ethereal about that moment. Nudes will never compare. Story 33. Having an in-depth conversation that goes on for hours. The longest I had was nearly 5 hours. From debate to recent TV series, to anime, to history, she kept in time and made our time together just fly. Funny thing is, we had both meant to get together for a quick one-night stand. Story 34. A nicely maintained yard. Yes, I'm old, but hear me out. Youth pretty much means anyone is if you devote at least a little effort to self-care. But a well-maintained yard is a labor of love that requires constant care and maintenance. A woman who has a nicely maintained yard isn't afraid of hard work. Story 35. Communication, connection, respect, and intimacy that does not revolve around. So many women ask their buffs or husbands to be more attentive and intimate, and in their brains it equals ass smacks, titty grabs, and hey, I took out the garbage, let's If you want to be sexy to someone, just pay attention to their conversation and needs. And I don't give a f if you think love languages don't exist, but they do, even for males. Story 36. I think having deep conversations with someone you're attracted to is just as exciting as seeing them naked. She's got looks and brains. Bonus points if she's a kind and empathetic person. Story 37. When I ask a girl to send me photos of her touching her mouth, just like licking her finger or touching her lips, honestly nothing gets me more excited than that, but personally think it's kinda weird and not normal. Maybe I have some kind of mouth fetish with hands, fingernails, no clue. Story 38. Sundress and a choker. I learned it's called a choker because I told my wife I love it when she wears her sundress with her collar. She was like, my what? When I explained it to her, she started dying laughing when she figured it out and then says, have you been telling friends I love it when my wife wears her collar? I have, several times in fact. Story 39. Leaving something to the imagination. Nudes are very invasive, and I immediately block people sending me unsolicited pictures of their privates. It's a different story when you're mutually attracted and in a relationship maybe, but don't just send your junk out to strangers, thank you. Story 40. Being loved. This is a good note to end on. Please write your stories in the comments. I'll be happy to add them to future videos. Also, you can rate our other videos. We would be very grateful. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.